That made the questions here went to your show last night.
Oh yeah?
And was mightily impressed.
Great. Have you seen the show yet?
No, I haven't. I wanted to make it last night, but unfortunately, got kids and they keep me busy on the weekends here. I was thinking of going tonight maybe.
Right. Your wife from here, from the States?
She's from here, although I met her in the States. Last night, he was impressed by like Pastime Paradise.
Oh really?
Yeah, which was not in the set list. Was that something you kind of pulled out of your hat there just for last night?
Well, actually, we rehearsed it a couple of days ago and decided that they wanted to do it. We like to.
Who decided on that?
I did.
You just brought it out.
It was one of the arrangements that was orchestrated for the symphony.
Mm-hmm.
So I had the arrangement, but I just never did it, so I decided to do it.
And what about like Village Ghetto Land?
The same. All those songs, I had planned to do when I decided to do the Natural Wonder performances.
And what exactly was the purpose of this tour? And where did the concept of a Natural Wonder tour come from?
A couple of years ago or more, about 3 years ago, someone had suggested that I go out and perform with the piano and, myself. And to do a kind of performance with just me and the piano and nothing like that. And as much as I liked the idea, I thought that I wanted to do something a bit different or in another way. I want to see more or better. Mm-hmm. Because I think that there have been performances done by artists, and they have done performances with just them accompanying themselves, and it's been good. So that's definitely another way of doing the art forms of music, but I wanted to do it differently, knowing that I had done a lot of stuff with the synthesizers and I arranged a lot of different things. I wanted to take those arrangements and get them orchestrated.
Let me see if I take a picture.
Get them orchestrated. And so I used Henry Panion, who was actually one of the doctors at the Alabama State,
mm-hmm.
and as well Paul Reiser, who has done a lot of arrangements for a lot of Motown stuff, and as well some of the stuff he did for just a lot of different people throughout the years.
Mm-hmm.
A great arranger as well. So I used them, the two of them, to orchestrate the arrangements that I had done for the cigarettes.
Mm-hmm. And I guess that being the concept, you weren't really that concerned with playing new material as much as going back into giving a fresh perspective to your existing
a combination of both. We do For Your Love, and we do, one song that is called Dancing to the Rhythm, which is the song we actually start the show off with.
Mm-hmm.
And this song is really paying honor to God, really just for the celebration of the night of music and all of this. So that's what we start the show off with. And it was going to be a song that I was going to put on Conversation Piece, but I started doing it live, and I liked the way it felt opening the show up. So instead of doing it on the album, I decided to keep it for the Natural Wonder performances, and I replaced it with Rain Your Love Down.
Mm-hmm.
Have you heard the album, by the way?
Actually, I haven't heard the whole thing myself. The guy who put together the questions, he's the Stevie Wonder specialist.
Okay.
When exactly did it come out?
It is not out yet. It's going to be out.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. That's why I haven't had a chance to hear it yet. And there is talk of a tour specifically for promoting
conversation piece. Probably, yeah. More than likely we'll do that, you know, mid to late summer or early fall.
Mm-hmm. Which makes kind of the timing of this Natural Wonder tour a bit of a mystery, because it's so close to the upcoming conversation piece tour.
Well, my thing basically is, you know, it's not about so much. Well, my thing is basically things that happen in the time that they're supposed to, is the right time. And so the performances of Natural Wonder was something that I wanted to do, and there was definitely talk about doing it in Japan when I first did them. I did a few performances in 93, 92.
Mm-hmm.
But basically, they were just a few performances, maybe 6 or 8 performances in Europe. And then we did nothing else with it until this last year, up to the end of January. I did the Natural Wonder performances for the Share Our Strength Charge Against Hunger campaign that was with American Express.
Mm-hmm.
And so we did a lot of performances in about 11 cities in the United States. And we'll probably go back at some point and do some more performances in other cities.
Mm-hmm.
Because we did performances in Detroit, New York, Los Angeles, Chicago, Boston, Washington, Denver, Phoenix, Miami, Atlanta, and Grandma. One more prayer. Yeah, we did. We also did Oakland.
Okay.
Hold on 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
So you leaving me to go to Grammys, huh? Our friendship is over with, huh? Well, get the Grammy. Go ahead.
There are a lot of Stevie Wonder legends out there, the various rumors and whatnot, and one of the more common rumors is that you have a lot of material that has not been recorded, or stuff that has been recorded but hasn't been released. In fact, it's rumored that there are literally hundreds of songs of that sort. Is that true?
Well, I mean, there are definitely a lot of songs that are not, that I haven't either finished doing or that I have in my mind, or that sort of thing. For Your Love is a song that I had the music and idea for a few years, but I never really worked with it, and I decided, this last year to work with it and get the words, and decided to include it on Conversation Piece. So there are songs definitely that, that I had finished or that are not finished. And I think really, for me, being a writer of songs, it's job security is? No. It's almost like, it's almost like investment, and you put certain things, you feel them and you do them, and you don't do it. You want to do some of the pictures with the watch off, by the way?
No. Yeah, そうじゃないかな。時計を外そうか。
Oh, thank you. Yes. Hi.
Yes, he said.
Is it distracting you? Is it okay?
Me?
Yeah.
The watch?
Checkers?
Oh no, I'm good with that.
Okay, one more second.
No, I'm good with that. I just figured that, you're doing your endorsement.
¿Quién puso esto?
Gotta give me a watch.
Actually, I was going to ask you about that watch there. I noticed that. Is that I mean, is that, it's just a regular digital watch.
There's a voice chip inside.
Okay. That was at the time.
I think it actually has a definite sound of voice inside.
Gee, I wonder where it was made. So, how about for this conversation piece? Like, was there a body of songs you chose from, and were a lot of songs left disposed of on the side there when you were done?
There are some songs, yes, because originally my idea was to do a double CD or album or whatever, a double CD of it, and so we ended up with at least half of those songs being on the CD. So there are 13 songs on there, but I had at least 13 more that could be on the album.
Wow. So, rumors of your prolific songwriting habits, I can see, are true to a certain extent.
Yeah, I mean, I like writing a lot. I do. As you can see, the equipment there set up.
Yeah.
I'm working on stuff. But, I'm sure the same for, if you're one who likes to write stories or discover information, if it's something that you've always liked doing, then getting into the business of it is only an extension because it was something that you liked doing before. So with me, music is something that I love, so it just so happened that someone thought that I might be worth paying to do it, or contracting to do something and see what happens. And in the beginning of my career, people didn't know really of my writing. But it normally is usually the case if you are a singer, if you want to take the path, to another level as well, extended, you will more than likely write music. You learn how to tinker with the piano because you got these ideas in your mind, or you pick up the guitar or something. And nowadays, with the technology being what it is, the synthesizer and all that kind of stuff is just, it's the computer and all that. It's just, you're able to interface with all that stuff and make it makes it a little simpler to work with creating stuff.
So you're a very prolific songwriter, and you perform a lot, and you've always got the piano or the computer, whatever around you. However, your output of albums now, compared to back in the 70s, has slowed down significantly. Are you
I'm getting old. I'm blind and old. Blind and old. No, I'm just...
That's one of the things this guy who made the questions can't quite get over. How you were coming up with like these history-making records back in the 70s, year after year after year, and in the last 7 years, you've come out with 3 albums: Characters, Jungle Fever, and now Conversation Piece. Are you becoming more demanding about what you prefer to make public, or what exactly is accounted for the change in output?
It's not really so much that. There isn't really anything other than the fact that I have been more actively involved in some of the various things that I had written about in my songs. I have been involved on a human level in just dealing with them or confronting them. Like, for instance, the working on the ultimately the passing of the national holiday for Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., being involved in the anti-apartheid movement, and being a part of the We Are the World project, as well as the That's What Friends Are For, helping to raise money to finding a cure for AIDS. as well as other things that I've done. Whether it is working out plans to have facilities all over the country, all over the United States, and probably we'll try to do it here with different devices or technology that will make it easier and the information more accessible to those who are visually impaired. So that has been a lot of the time that I've spent doing that. And basically, along with that, by 1975, I had a daughter, Aisha. So children now. So with a combination of me sharing with being able to spend time with my family and as well just doing the things that you do in life. But in that time, it's never stopped me from writing or working on songs. The going to Ghana as I did and having a vacation and just having my musical stuff to work with, there was a certain amount of time for me to maybe be more prolific and just having downtime for just working on ideas and thinking and reflecting and discovering. And so from all that came the many songs that I was able to work with and work on, that some of which are part of the conversation.
Do you think when you were younger, and like around 1970, early 70s or so, did you have something to prove as an artist? You wanted to make a breakthrough? You wanted to change things?
No, I never look at it like it's trying to make some breakthrough. I mean, I discover, and if I, in discovering something, find that it's something that I can put me in and make it a part of what I do, then that is what I do. But it's not so a point of trying to prove some point. I mean, when you get into that kind of thing, of proving a point, I mean, you just do the best that you can do, and in doing the best that you can do, you hope that it may be the best. But if you keep going through trying to do better than somebody else and being envious or jealous of one other's position or whatever, then you never will be satisfied with yourself and your achievements that you have been blessed to have.
So humility is an important virtue.
No. I don't think so.
Really, it isn't.
No.
You say that you seriously say that.
I mean, what I'm saying is I love achieving, but I'm not going to go out of my way to say, hey, I got to do better than this person over here. Blow somebody out over there. I think I have confidence in what I do. So I know that when I do it, I'm going to give it my best. And more than likely it's going to be real good.
Our absent interviewer wants to turn back the clock here because it's so difficult to get an interview with you. He wants to set a few historical facts. Yeah, he wants to clear up a few facts. So first of all, when you released Fulfilling This' first finale back in '74, there was talk about you packing in at the time, leaving the music business. There was talk about you going to Africa.
Yeah, I was talking about moving to Ghana actually, and it took me actually. I talked about going there in '74. I ended up getting there in '92. But I was able to go to Africa in '77. Late January of '77, I went to Festec, which is the festival of African and other black people assembled throughout the world. And as much as it was a festival open to everyone, or it was, of different cultures, it was about the culture of Black people wouldn't particularly up in Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
And it was very exciting to be there, and it was at that time that I performed one of the songs that I was nominated for on the Grammy, which was so deep. So it was true that I did talk about not quitting business, but I wanted to go and I wanted to go to Africa. Yeah. And a lot of it was to do some work with helping to find a solution to combating the problem of what they call river blindness, which is caused by the stick line. And so there has been some breakthrough in that. There's a couple of doctors that. One that is in California, and there's another one that is in London, England, that is working with trying to combat this problem.
So, in your case, it was a humanitarian objective you had in mind, as opposed to a personal.
A combination of both. There's always been culturally interest, obviously, in me wanting to go back to place of sin. So I wanted to go and discover or to know about it, and obviously reading Alice King's book and also seeing the program they had on about roots, which inspired all people of different cultures, Italian Americans as well as other people of various countries, Europeans, wanted to discover their roots, which is to me a great thing, because if you cannot know the history, your history in your life and how it all began, you don't see the connection really of all people, because the real deal is that everybody really, we all started one place. Everybody comes from one place. As life migrated in those different places as it did. And knowing that historically, when we said that civilization began in Africa, and obviously I want to know how it all started. And, if I live one way and you live one way and someone else another way, how did it all happen? So it's a historical kind of thing that I've always been interested in.
Why the delay in getting there? What kept you from actually going?
A lack of sponsorship.
Really?
I'm kidding you. I'm kidding you. Actually, I didn't have it faster. Motown had me changed. If you don't get this album done, you ain't going nowhere, Shaka. They're actually just time. Time, and one thing happens and another thing. I did performance as first finale. Before I knew it, I was back in the studio working with trying to get some songs for the next album. The next album took a couple of years or more. Then the songs to Kid Life, and then the things for that, and boom, 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 boom. So that's what happened. It was in '74 that Mrs. Personality came out, but probably I think '75 was when I made that announcement. Yeah, that I was going to go.
Again, staying with the '70s thing, he talks about how
it's like the James Brown, where James Brown said, "I'm quitting. This is James Brown's last tour. Remember that? This is it. I'm going to retire now. So you better come on and get those tickets, because this is it."
Works every time.
Even after the record, the James Brown was "This is a hit." Nah. Okay.
Staying on the '70s subject here, in Japan, what had been known as soul music up to that point was starting to be known as new soul. with people like you releasing Talking Book, What's Going On was coming out. You had this Temptations doing the psychedelia. You had Curtis Mayfield doing new things as well. Did you feel like you were spearheading a movement at the time, or is it, as you said a second ago, doing the best you could and having confidence in what you were doing?
Really, that's how I felt. I mean, I leave it to other people to say, well, this is different, this is special. I think, really, most things that come out, I mean, obviously you're inspired, but it's almost like dance. I mean, most of the dance starts really in, the inner city, and then it moves out and people get into it, no different than rap. I mean, you got people, Wall Street acknowledges rap, but in the beginning, it was, in the hood, and so basically, no different than different, a certain dish, that people, from different, cultures with cuisine. I mean, it starts, kind of like in someone's kitchen somewhere, and then, like, whoa, give me that, I like that, put that up, so, I think that, there were things that were in my mind, and ideas that I had, and I just brought to the people ideas that I had, and if they were innovative, so be it, they were. But my feeling on it, when people begin to say, well, that was innovative then, it's almost as if, so then, if that is so, you can't be innovative again. So I always try to, I'm not really into that kind of putting a time stamp on any kind of thing. And I think that if you have a piece, say, by Bach, if someone presents it like, who's the da-da-da-da, 2 years ago, they did a disco tip.
Oh, yeah, right.
I mean, so basically, you know that, right? No.
You mean the disco thing of Beethoven.
Beethoven.
A slice of Beethoven.
Right.
Yeah.
And so it was. I mean, that was innovative. It made it sound fresh and sound new. The person didn't know. So the point is, my thing is to have music and to do things that will last the test of time. But it was a new time, the 70s, and a lot of things were happening. And from, say, what Marvin Gaye did with his What's Going On, Apology album, to Norman Whitfield doing all the Cloud 9 stuff and Psychedelic Shack and all that stuff. And movies, what was the movie that first hit? Superfly and all that stuff. I mean, it was, it was a time, a time and place where there was so which one did Shack come out? Was that in the
Shack?
Shack, was that the early 70s?
Yeah, that's 71 and 72. Yeah. Here's where I go out on a limb, because I had not known about this. There was a serious auto accident of some kind that you were in. Now, did that, he wants to know, did that have a significant influence on your outlook on life, on your approach to music?
I think definitely it affected my life in some way.
When did this happen, by the way?
What did you ask me?
You're not going to make this easy, are you? Well, when did this happen? And I'm pardon my ignorance.
No, that's okay. No, I'm being serious. It happened in '73, on the 6th of August. Actually, it happened the day that my album was released.
That album being
Innovations.
Innovations.
And we were on our way to do a benefit performance, and the car that I was in hit the back of a truck filled with logs, and I was sitting shotgun, and you can see the scar right there.
Ah, okay.
And right here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Knocked some sense in my head. But I was in a coma for 2 weeks.
Uh-huh.
And people were asking me, you think he's up here with this thing? Okay. Hey, oh, let's get real serious with this. But there was a thing we did. I remember waking up when I finally found out what was going on. I was saying, golden lane. So I was just saying. I'm sure the nurses said, what in the hell is he doing?
But what sort of influence do you think that had on your outlook on life from that point on?
Well, I think that as much as I was very thankful to be in life, live, there were certain things that I wanted to know. Mm-hmm. And I remembered for some months praying that something would happen catastrophic that would let me know who was in my corner. And when you pray for something, you ask for it, you get it. And something definitely happened to let me know.
When you say you were praying to be informed about who was in your corner, what exactly do you mean?
I wanted to know if something happened to me, what would happen? How would people be with me? And so I prayed on that. And as you pray for, you get it. You may not want it if it's the wrong thing, but the point is, it taught me two things. Most of all, I have to be in my corner. Meaning I have to be in my corner in the right way. And the only way that I can be in my corner in the right way is to give God all the praise for anything, everything that I can have or will do or am doing. And not to get really deep on it, but I mean that really is the bottom line, because if you use those senses right, you do good by other people and really do the best that you can do in this life. More than likely, you won't get fooled, and you'll really have a sense of knowing that if you are going to give and it's from your heart, then let that be so, and live your life with selfishly having consistently an unselfish or a selfless kind of love for people. And that's really what it taught me. And that's appreciate life, value the days of my life. Not saying that I did not value them, but I can't say that I value them always enough.
Getting the old heave-ho single here, so I'll ask a couple more and then be pushing on. Journey Through the Secret Life of Plants seems, in retrospect, to have been a very experimental record. As a matter of fact, it doesn't seem like you experimented with anything in this way since. You sort of stuck more to what we would call pop music, or is that not the way you see it?
Well, I mean, if pop means popular music, that's okay to say that. I think that obviously there are other influences other than pop, what is considered pop, and there are influences of, obviously African influences, jazz influences, gospel influences, there's some country influences, and there are lots of different things that go through the structure of various songs that I've done. But The Secret Life of Plants definitely was, in comparison, it was definitely a whole nother genre of, you know, of an approach, and I'm sure that I would do it again. I just have to find the project that I think is conducive to me taking it and doing that kind of experimentation.
And last year, as I'm getting the evil eye, current music, like say, for example, label mates, Boys to Men, or maybe guys involved in hip-hop, R. Kelly, Babyface. Do you stay in touch with this stuff?
Oh yeah.
And who's good then? Who's high on your list?
Well, I like a lot of the stuff that Babyface has written, and as well as when he was working with LA. I like a lot of stuff that he did. I like, my favorite probably is Take 6. I like Boys to Men a lot. I like Dark Horse a lot. You know, I like Salt and Pepper a lot. I like some of the stuff that Ice Cube has done. You know. There's a new group that I heard called Roots. I like them a lot. And I like listening to them. I like a lot of different kinds of things. I like M. Marcellus. I like that. I like Chick Corea. I mean, you know, there's a lot of stuff. Well, Chick Corea is not so new as to people, but you know, I like a lot of different kinds of music. So I'm always inspired by the various things that I hear. There's a lot of good music out there.
All right, Stevie. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure.
Good meeting you.
Yeah.
See you tonight.
Yeah, you take care.
God bless you.
You too.
That's definitely another way of doing the art form of the music. But I wanted to do it differently, knowing that I had done a lot of stuff with the synthesizers and I arranged a lot of different things. I wanted to take those arrangements and get them orchestrated.
Let me see if I can take a picture. Excuse me.
Get them orchestrated. And so I used Henry Panion, who was actually one of the doctors at the Alabama State, and as well Paul Reiser, who has done a lot of arrangements for a lot of Motown stuff, and as well some of the stuff he did for planned to do when I decided to do the Natural Wonder performances.
And what exactly was the purpose of this tour? And where did the concept of a Natural Wonder tour come from?
A couple of years ago, or more, about 3 years ago, someone had suggested that I go out and perform with the piano, and, you know, myself, and to do a kind of performance with just me and the piano and magic like that. And as much as I liked the idea, I thought that I wanted to do something a bit different, or in another way. I want to see more or better, because I think that there have been performances done by artists, and they have done you know, performances with just them accompanying themselves, and it's been good. So that's
well, the guy who put together the question is he's the Stevie Wonder specialist.
okay.
When exactly did it come out?
It is not out yet. It's going to be out.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. That's why I haven't had a chance to hear it yet. And there is talk of a tour specifically for promoting Conversation
Piece. Probably, yeah. More than likely we'll do that. You know, mid to late summer or early fall.
Mm-hmm. Which makes kind of the timing of this Natural Wonder tour a bit of a mystery, because it's so close to the upcoming Conversation Piece tour.
Well, my thing basically is, it's not about so much. Well, my thing is basically things that happen in the time that they're supposed to, is the right time. And so the performances of Natural Wonder was something that I wanted to do, and there was definitely talk about doing it in Japan when I first did them. So I did just a lot of different people throughout the years.
Mm-hmm.
A great arranger as well. So I used them, the two of them, to orchestrate the arrangements that I had done for the cigarettes.
Mm-hmm. And I guess that being the concept, you weren't really that concerned with playing new material as much as going back into giving a fresh perspective to your existing.
A combination of both. We do For Your Love, and we do, one song that is called Dancing to the Rhythm, which is a song we actually start the show off with.
Mm-hmm.
And this song is really paying homage and honor to God, really just for the celebration of the night of music and all of this. So that's what we start the show off with. And it was going to be a song that I was going to put on Conversation Piece, but I started doing it live, and I liked the way it felt opening the show up. So instead of doing it on the album, I decided to keep it for the Natural Wonder performances, and I replaced it with Rain Your Love Down.
Mm-hmm.
Have you heard the album, by the way?
Actually, I haven't heard the whole thing. I know that Made the Questions here went to your show last night.
Oh, yeah?
And was mightily impressed.
Great. Have you seen the show yet?
No, I haven't. I wanted to make it last night, but unfortunately, got kids and they keep me busy on the weekends here. I was thinking of going tonight, maybe.
Right. Your wife from here, from the States?
She's from here, although I met her in the States. Last night, he was impressed by Pastime Paradise.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which was not in the set list. Was that something you kind of pulled out of your hat there just for last night?
Well, actually, we rehearsed it a couple of days ago and decided that they wanted to do it. We like to.
Who decided on that? I mean, you
I did.
You just brought it out.
It was one of the arrangements that was orchestrated for the symphony.
Mm-hmm.
So I had the arrangement, but I just never did it. So I decided to do it.
And what about Village Ghetto Land?
The same. All those songs. I had